Again, Sandra Sully with the late news. That's all my fault for going on a honeymoon. But UFC 264 was a week ago.
Yep.
The
huge card.
Big main event was Poirier and McGregor. We'll get to that in a second. You boys sent this to me pretty quick. The Jennifer Mayer giving Jessica Eye a third eye on the undercard. Nasty cut. A lot of memes. Thoughts?
Oh, just a bad. Like, it was a terrible cut, and where it was, added to the funniness of it. Add to the fact that it's Jessica Eye
getting a third eye.
Yeah, it's just the planets aligned for the jokes, for the memes. And, terrible cut. She ended up winning this fight by decision?
Jennifer Mayer did.
Yeah. I think it went the distance. Like an absolute war. She had blood all over her face.
Yeah. Can't question her toughness.
No, not at all. But yeah.
But the memes are funny.
The memes are funny. That was probably the biggest thing that came out of this fight was the memes.
Oh, yeah. She should close her eyes. She'd look like Lila off Futurama. I saw that one getting around. Nasty gash. But something, and look, something like that as well sucks, but you're on the undercard and we're talking about it.
Exactly. That's so... Yeah, it's not a great way to get your name out there, but it does help get your name out there. And Jessica Eye, who was trying to kind of rebuild her title chances at that point, in her rankings, tough loss for her. Indeed.
Someone that always gets a lot of hype and media attention is Sugar Sean O'Malley. He beat Chris Martino via third round TKO.
Yeah, but talk about someone that gets their name out publicity, like Chris in this one, that he got hit with the most significant strikes in a bantamweight fight of all time.
Right.
Like his strategy was essentially Homer Simpson get punched in the face
against Frederick Tatum.
Yeah. And Sean O'Malley, he was super accurate. He had like 85% strike accuracy or some shit like that. Like it was bananas. But he ate every shot and just kept coming.
Yep.
So crazy in that regards. They stopped the fight with Herb Dean fucks it up and stops the fight with like 20 seconds to go. Chris, I think, really earned the fact that he'd go the distance.
You thought Herb could have let it go the last 20 seconds?
Well, the first 200 punches hadn't knocked him out. I don't think the next 20 are probably going to do too much more damage. Like his face was messed up, he's bleeding that like that.
Yeah.
But he was never out. Like he was always coherent there. He was getting pieced the fuck up and getting wailed on. But he the previous 14 minutes and 30 seconds of that fight. You could have stopped at any of those points for the exact same thing.
Yeah, right.
But he just kept going, and it's like, Herb fucked it, but he's trying to save the fighter. Oh, excuse me, save the fighter, but
it's coming out.
Yeah, save the fighter, but I think that was a terrible one from Herb in this regards for that one.
So he took 177 shots to the head.
177
significant strikes.
So
177 shots to the head. That's Mia Khalifa numbers. She's probably under that.
Shout out Cher if she understands what that reference is.
She won't be listening and she won't understand. Now back to Sean O'Malley. So he's 14-1. He's only lost. It is a real loss. He doesn't count it as a loss, but it is a loss to Marlon Vera, who's ranked 13th. The thing about him is he hasn't fought a ranked fighter yet. Do they? They have to give him one after this.
He's
such a big name.
Exactly. That may be the problem as well. Like those top 15 guys are avoiding him too. So, but the UFC's built on stars. Yep. He's got Sean O'Malley has a pretty big following, and its following's growing. He does so much like outside self promotion, like podcasts up the wazoo. So he's definitely out there and about. He's all over the place. Like he's bantamweight's kind of trying to get stuck in and like, hey, we'll fight you in that. But they made this one. Slightly odd kind of decision, but in the end, it ended up being an excellent decision. But he was, there's levels to shit, and Sean was such a far level above Chris in this one. But does he need a top 15? Yeah, like definitely.
Yeah, so he's still unranked at the moment.
Yeah,
which is bananas.
Yeah. But as well, who does he get? Kyler Phillips, Cody Stammen. Has he fought any of those blokes? Have you got Sean O'Malley up there on Wiki?
No, so he hasn't fought anyone
So I think I actually saw it floating around that Dominic Cruz, who's at 10.
Who's at 9?
9?
Yeah.
Might be an interesting one just because of the interesting styles that they both fight with. Like,
yeah, right.
Very much stand-up fighters.
That'd be him getting fast-tracked if he gets up that high.
Also, yeah, the reason, like, for those guys to like for Dominic Cruz, you're still going to get on the pay-per-view because you'll either be the third or fourth fight in that pay-per-view because Sean's such a big name there. Dominic Cruz also being a huge name for those guys that really been following the sport for a long time, especially the hardcores.
Yep.
And he's on commentary, so a lot of people know of Dominic Cruz. That could be one that, gets him into not only the top 15, but top 10.
So Cruz is 36 years of age now. He had a huge win streak up until Uriah Faber back in UFC 199, then lost to some really good fighters in Cody Garbrandt and Henry Cejudo. So, and his most recent one is a win against Casey Kenny.
So where was Casey Kenny ranked back there? Was he in the...
No. He's
Not ranked.
No, not ranked.
Well, not at the moment, at least, yeah.
So that'd be an interesting fight.
That was the one I think kind of was floating around out there. This could be an interesting one.
One legend of the division versus a huge name up-and-comer.
You hate Dominic Cruz to become a gatekeeper, but, if you're 9th or 10th and you got a big name like Dominic Cruz does, you're kind of in that. But for Dominic Cruz, like you go out there and you beat Sean O'Malley, that puts you straight back in the conversation for a possible, 1 or 2 fights away from a title run.
Yeah,
so it really depends on what Dominic wants to do.
The top end of the bantamweight division is stacked, man.
Well, it's held up a bit with Sterling and Jan needing to have the run their fight back from the disqualification.
Yep.
Which Jan was handily winning that fight.
He was, yeah.
But then
you got Corey Sandhagen up there. Jose Aldo still good.
So Sandhagen is booked to fight TJ Dillashaw and Dillashaw's return fight. So as long as Dillashaw doesn't piss hot.
Has he had 2 years out, Dillashaw?
Yep.
For EPO?
Yep.
That went quick. Life goes quick.
It does, yeah.
It's like
for a big time. For him, probably not so much.
Yeah, for him.
I was going to say, what's the moral of the story here?
I don't know. The moral is when you think about everything that's happened in that time, that this pandemic wasn't a thing. You think that's a fucking long time. Yeah. But then you think, TJ Dillashaw. Yeah, 2 years goes like that. All right, let's move forward. For us Aussies, a huge moment with Ty Bam Bam Tuivasa knocking out Greg Hardy in the first round. We spoke about it. It's going to end via knockout. Which way will it go? It's probably going to end by first round knockout. Got that right. Backed in Bam Bam. He got him.
Greg Hardy hits him early, wobbles him a bit. Like
he ate a few.
Yeah, like the heavyweight division, like the heavyweights, they don't fuck around. You getting hit by ex-Pro Bowl defensive ends, like that shit's gonna hurt you.
Physical specimen.
Yeah, like they're massive human beings. So Ty gets hit, wobbled legs. Greg Hardy like rushes in trying to finish the fight. Ty instinctively throwing his own bombs back, and Greg Hardy eats one straight on the chops. So
they were going hammer and tong, these two, weren't they?
Yeah. For like the minute length of this fight, like they definitely were swinging them. Tua wins this, does 3 shoeys.
Yeah, 3. Like within like 10 minutes.
Yeah, 3 shoeys on the way out. One with hot sauce.
Yeah.
Which I think ended up being Dustin Poirier's hot sauce, which I think was why it was there.
Okay,
But wasn't a huge fan of that. But yeah, there's no COVID, bro. Just you can't get COVID doing chewies.
That's right. No, with the hot sauce either. Kills the COVID.
Probably could get other stuff.
Yeah. I follow him on Instagram. I imagine you boys do too. He had a party the next day. He was going live. All the boys there at the Encore Beach Club having a good time. Shout out to him. And we're speaking about Sean O'Malley not being ranked. When's this bloke going to get one?
Yeah, great question. I think difference, from Tua to Sean O'Malley. Tua's had a couple of fights against top 15 dudes, and I think he's lost all of them. Junior Dos Santos, probably the biggest one.
Yeah, Dos Santos. That's Sergey Spivak. He's ranked as well. And Ivanov. He's in the rankings, isn't he? Yeah, Ivanov's 11. Spivak is 14. And Junior Dos Santos has dropped out, but was
retired, I think.
Retired, ranked.
But he was, top 10 at that point. So,
3 fight win streak now, though.
Yeah, after a 3-fight lose streak. So
Has a whole nation behind him.
true. But, well, Rob Whittaker's probably our biggest name from UFC's perspective. Actually, no. Well, you can put Volk in that.
Volk, sure.
Yeah, Volk is a
sure.
champion.
Sure. But when those blokes do 3 shoeys in the first 10 minutes,
Yeah, true.
that's when the nation will really get behind
True,
it.
exactly. Yeah.
No disrespect to Volk or Whittaker. Big fans of both of them.
So
He deserves something between 10 and 15, though.
yeah,
Like, he definitely
same
has
thing. In that conversation, he needs
Well,
not a gatekeeper, but he needs someone in that, say, 15 and 10 bracket.
What
now
about a guy like Walt Harris? He's 38 years of age. He's 13 and 10. He's ranked 12th. He's on the
A little bit of a confidence booster.
descend, let's put it that way, of his career, and Bam Bam's on the ascend.
that might be a good
that'd make
choice.
sense, I would have thought.
Yep. I can back that in. Marks, what have you added there for us?
Oh, just the so Arena El Dana.
No,
I didn't realize this was going to be the harder name to pronounce.
hence why I threw the monkey.
Kunitskia.
Make sure you say the last name right.
Kunitskaya.
Kunitskaya. I was saying it before in my head.
I don't want to get banned.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Great insight there, mate.
So Irene
They fought
defeated
at a catch weight, didn't
catch
they?
weight. Yeah. So
Yeah,
Irene
she missed
didn't make weight.
Yep.
Yeah.
She
So
looked huge, by the way.
Yep.
This is in the bantamweight division, so the smaller of Amanda Nunes's belts. She's got the bigger one as well.
Yeah.
So 135. This
being-
old Ronda belt.
yeah. So being overweight, she well, not to discredit her fighting ability, she knocked Yana out first round.
Yeah. Big
Always
time,
contentious when you miss weight and then knock someone out, isn't it?
big time boxer as well, and like really dominated this fight. As soon as it kind of got into her range, and she got was letting those hands go, she looks so much better than Yana. So, I don't think she's at Nunes level, like kind of in there, but
Is anyone at Nunes level?
great point. Probably not. But I mean, as in Nunes's level to then have a fight with Nunes, she's probably 2 fights away from that point. But she does really look good.
What about a Holly Holm?
She just lost to Holly Holm this fight beforehand, so that's kind of what set her back.
Okay.
So yeah, like it'd be interesting. She's there and thereabouts, I think, is the problem. I think she's got great size and she's got great boxing ability. She just needs to, I don't know, put 1 or 2 things together, and then that'll be it for her, and she can kind of put it together. I think she
also
potentially
also Mexican, big nation, would get a nation behind her.
Big market.
Spoke about Brandon Moreno, a few weeks ago, becoming the first Mexican champ. Be massive for Mexico if they could get her there.
Yeah.
Again, I don't see anyone beating Nunes the way that she's going.
not
about
anytime
things
soon,
at the
but
moment.
potentially she has things you can build around. That's kind of what I'm at.
Yeah. So you mentioned that fight against Holly Holm,
Which went to decision.
last year, which she lost, and then so her last.
That was a 5-round decision too. So
Oh, there you go. The girl's banging it out for 25 minutes. It'd be interesting to see who she gets next.
I reckon run that fight back.
Well, there's another girl there, Aspen Ladd or Jermaine de Randamy. Be one of those girls.
yeah. Well, Jermaine wanted nothing to do with Amanda Nunes, with Cyborg, and she probably doesn't want anything to do with Nunes. So
Just sit there and be number one.
be the gatekeeper. Yeah, maybe that Holly Holm makes sense to run it back. I'd have to go back and rewatch that one with her for the 5 rounds.
Well, it didn't even come to mind for mine.
Exactly. So
there you go. All right, moving into the second biggest fight of the evening. Gilbert Burns defeated Stephen Wonderboy Thompson by decision. I was on a plane going to my honeymoon by this stage. You blokes watched it.
Yep.
What can you tell me about it?
let's to summarize. Burns dominated. He's wrestling just so much more than for what Wonderboy could do. I think he got 6 or so takedowns in this. Each round he got the takedown he needed to. He didn't land huge on Wonderboy, but I don't think Wonderboy on the inverse as well. Like it didn't really. I can't remember any
the highlights that I saw. It looked like Wonderboy got him with a few of those roundhouse kicks.
Yeah, I couldn't think of any moment though where either one of them was kind of in trouble on the feet.
Right.
Like, it was definitely a gritty kind of tough fought-out 3-round decision. Burns, I think, dominated the first 2. Wonderboy really needed to push hard in the third. But by that point, Burns did enough and then also, secured another takedown. You get the time, waste out the clock. So I think, Burns did more than enough, and Stephen Thompson kind of another guy getting up there in age.
We spoke about that in our preview of UFC 264. Even though Gilbert Burns was the odds-on underdog here, we all backed him, or did you go Wonderboy? I know me and you. I
definitely backed Burns.
I might have gone Wonderboy, yeah.
Yeah, I think me and you backed him because we go, hang on a minute. The bloke's higher ranked. He's younger. His ground game is immaculate.
Well, he's won 5. No, that's a incorrect number. But I know for a fact.
Well, it's a number. I don't know what you're about to say. If it was incorrect.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champions. Ships.
Yep.
I think he definitely won the last one, and he might have won. I thought I was going to say the last 5, and I was like, I don't think it's the last 5. He's won 3, 4. So
he's a BJJ master.
He had a bloody BJJ tournament like a month out from this fight as well, and won that.
He loves taking fights, man. So since losing to Dan Hooker back in 2018, he's at the UFC level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fights in 3 years.
Yeah,
so
keeping competitive.
Yeah, so taking nearly 3 a year, and is fighting BJJ at the same time.
Yeah, can you get his title? Just scroll up. Sorry, his actual awards.
Yep. So there you go. So he's been a Brazilian Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and has also been a bronze medalist at the ADCC World Championship, which is at the...
Yeah, I thought he might have won it more recently than that. I could be wrong.
Anyway, elite BJJ.
Definitely.
BJJ player.
Yes, yeah.
Did you know they call them players? And same with judo, players. Yeah, yep. I only learned that a few months ago, I think. It sounds weird.
Yeah, well,
to play judo or to play BJJ.
Well, I think
it's a chess game.
Well, it's more
because very much like a chess game
because it is grappling. It's less of a fight. So like Mikey says, it is more of about like technique and movement and where you place your body. The chess game. So you're playing that game versus trying to knock someone's block off and win a fight.
Yeah.
So it is slightly different. But yeah, Burns never uses a lot of that, honestly, which is quite interesting.
He just wrestles.
His wrestling's pretty good. Or he tries to fight on the hands. Like that him and Usman fight was basically they kind of equaled each other out in the wrestling / BJJ game. So it was just a pure stand-up fight, which was excellent for the viewer. But Usman in the end with that jab got over Burns. But Burns, I think, kind of solidified himself as a 1 in that division. Masvidal, I don't think is kind of there. The Diaz brothers floating around might make it interesting, but
surely they're past it.
Names. That's the reason.
Yeah.
So I guess
do the big one.
Let's do the big one. So the final fight, Dustin Poirier takes on Conor McGregor, defeats Conor McGregor, was ruled a first round TKO. I think McGregor wanted it as a doctor stoppage between the rounds because I think he did make the end of the round.
It was a stoppage, so it was TKO by doctors.
By
doctor stoppage, yeah. So
which comes under the the loss via TKO.
Yes. So for those that aren't aware, McGregor, of course, broke his tib and fib.
If you've been living under a rock, shout out to Andrew Burns. I'm sure you're not listening. McGregor has lost again, and in a quite contentious way.
Yeah.
Nasty.
Like, it was his left leg, I believe, from memory.
Yep.
It was his supporting leg, essentially. So put all his weight back on his leg, and both his lower shin bones have given out. Looked, and his ankle's gone the other way. Would have been beautiful viewing, getting Macca's reaction to that because he hates, injuries like that is. But, it's been a couple of weeks. We've had Jimmy Crute and Chris Weidman recently having similar lower leg injuries.
Yep, lower legs. Jacare getting his arm broken. There's been, the UFC fighters need to drink a bit more milk by the looks.
Well, so we'll get. There's a few points to cover here. Let's talk about the injury. So supposedly, McGregor came into the fight with injury. It was well known. It has been stated that both the UFC and because it was in Las Vegas, Nevada Athletic Commission all knew about it.
Right.
He's released photos of it, ice taped up, getting scans on it.
Yeah.
So we kind of talked. Monks and I kind of talked about it. Like maybe there was microfractures there.
Yep.
Sounds like that was the case. There's a few instances. There was a check from a kick. McGregor hit Dustin on the knee, and you can see the foot kind of moves a little bit.
On, yeah.
That's, I feel like.
Dustin kind of points at that one.
Yeah,
and then just before this one, before he actually breaks it, he throws another kick and he hits Dustin on the elbow. Again, another hard bone you probably don't want to be kicking.
No.
So that combination probably of those, the microfire, the fractures going into it, maybe that's what it just finally gave under his weight to break both your shin bones. Probably very, very rare, but with all that action and all that stress through that joint, it's finally given way. And at a terrible time for Conor McGregor.
Yeah, on the biggest stage. It would be interesting, and I guess we'll never know as to was it the lead up, was he hurt going in, or was it those two checks from Dustin that.
It wouldn't surprise me knowing the game plan that McGregor came in with a heavy kick-oriented game plan. His first 6 strikes were kicks.
Yep.
So it wouldn't surprise me if during training he'd thrown. I'm going to throw out a number, just say 1,000.
1,000. 1,000.
1,000.
I think that's fair enough. I think that's fair enough.
He'd thrown heaps of those kicks, and it probably the stress on the joint. That's why we're talking stress on the bones, the microfractures there. Once you start getting them, it's just what can you do with that? And McGregor is notorious for having, fighting with injuries. He took the Chad Mendes fight with a 80% partially torn bloody ACL, and then he did blow his ACL out against Max Holloway.
Yep.
In the second round, and then won both of those fights, of course. So he's not Aldo pulled out with a rib injury, and I think McGregor had busted up wrists himself at that point. So he's not a guy to pull out of fights. He's definitely he'll take niggles in there and do his best. Yeah. He's a warrior. So,
what did you think about the shit talking whilst you're lying down with a broken ankle? Well, any of us would be writhing in pain. So,
interesting enough, Chris Weidman and bloody Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva, the video of them afterwards, they're tearing up, they're in so much pain, getting them on stretchers, getting them out there. McGregor's is like, fuck that, I'm cutting an interview with Joe Rogan.
Lying down on it.
And I'm going...
That's one of the all-time interviews.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ham on Dustin Poirier. And I think he probably lost a few fans.
He'd lost me in the lead-up.
Yeah.
And I was talking about this with you boys. I was going, fuck, I used to love him, but it's just becoming too much. And I know they got to sell fights. I know that's what they're trying
I think there was a line, and when he got stuck into Khabib's wife, that's kind of the point where he crossed it, and there's been no return. So essentially, and then
since then,
Dustin's wife
with Dustin's wife, I will murder you. When he's saying, I will kill you.
Yeah, I'm going to kill you in your sleep. Your missus is a hoe. She's in my DMs.
Yeah, there's shit talking. And then,
even before that, there was stuff going on outside of the ring that was happening.
Yeah, definitely. The whole incident in Las Vegas with the bus.
Yeah.
Yep.
The other thing is, people are like, hey, I'm losing a fan. He's getting stuck into to Dustin's misses. But you got to remember, he threw a fucking dolly at a bus. He fought some old blokes in the pub.
Yeah.
He's
I think
he's a classic kind of hoodlum. But it's going up with fuckloads of money.
Yeah, that's right. He's starting to lose some fans. Is it hurting him from a financial point of view?
Hell no.
He's the highest paid athlete in the world.
I think he made 20 mil for that fight. So.
Yeah.
He's fighting just because he wants to fight. He's not fighting for money. He's not fighting for fans.
No.
It's just something that he loves. And props to him for doing something that he loves at a competitive level.
And he probably sold that as well.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the most painful thing he's ever been through. But he was just like, this is the 4th fight. I don't want to say excuse, but I've got a reason now for let's run this back with Dustin.
Well, this 4th fight has to happen.
There's so much now.
I
mean,
happened.
for Dustin, it doesn't. Like, he can go on and
well, that's the
keep
thing.
working up
Like
the ladder,
Dustin's number
get that
one
belt.
ranked, so
Yeah.
And
Oliveira's then waiting there for a fight, and it's got to be Dustin Oliveira. Gagey, maybe, but he's just lost to Khabib. Maybe he needs a fight against, say, Chandler to kind of get him back into that space.
here's one for you. Okay.
So if he wins that belt, like Conor can't come back.
Well, what if Dana comes out to you and he says you can have Oliveira after you go through Conor again, because it's a license to print money.
Well, Dustin probably doesn't care at this point. He's just like, I'm getting paid fuckloads.
What's more important to Dustin?
Well,
but being having
that
belt, or going and make a fucking mint. Like if Conor's getting 20, like Dustin probably didn't get that, but he should be getting a lot of. Money.
I think Dustin's
and that's something that's wrong as well with the UFC. Is that the bloke that lost the fight is making a lot more money than the bloke that won.
Yeah, well, names is part of it, but I think for Dustin, like he's building his name off it. Some of the like shit talk he got better of McGregor. The all time classic McGregor fast, no McGregor sleep is like one of the greatest quotes. You know. He should rock up with t-shirts. Yeah, he can even add like McGregor break to the bottom of it. So
yeah, that's right. Hey, speaking, you guys see the Conor McGregor doll that comes with the ankle already broken, and Logan Paul, I think was
Jake Paul made a necklace of the McGregor's sleep, and then Dustin's going to auction that off. So,
I think he made that.
World talking about.
Yeah, I think he made that necklace like beforehand, ages before, and then he's obviously sent it across to Dustin, and Dustin's going to be auctioning that off for his charity for the charity that Conor didn't pay up.
Right.
Recoup some of that $500,000 that he didn't pay up.
That was the whole sliding into the DMs fiasco.
Yeah. What did Dustin say after the fight? Karma doesn't come back. It's like karma's a mirror or something like that.
Karma's a mirror, and you'll get reflected in your actions essentially. So if you're gonna be a CU in next Tuesday, then it's gonna come back on you, and karma's a bitch, as they like to say.
For sure. Well, we talk about Conor possibly losing fans and making money. Dustin's making money and gaining fans, I would have to say.
Yeah, exactly. And, if he can go out there and beat Oliveira and the title, he's got the title, which probably means the kind of fight never happens again.
Yep.
But then, he could pick and choose. Like, if he then beats Gagey and it's like, well, Chandler hasn't done anything. I'm assuming Chandler's, say, lost to Gagey. If I'm following my quick timeline, future timeline.
There's a lot going on in that head of yours. I'm struggling to keep up.
Yeah, but then he might go, hey, pick the fight. Kind of like Michael Bisping did with Dan Henderson when he was the middleweight champion. Just pick the fight I want, and that's what I want Conor, because one, I can add an extra title defense, get paid fuckloads, and I know I'm going to be pretty comfortable in this. So, it's an easier fight, but it also makes you shitloads of money and, again, keeps your name out there.
Yeah.